You are now listening to the Where's the Line podcast with Joseph West and Britt Dillard. Enjoy the show.
Milton gonna take a shot wide open and just strutting in is Keaton. Joe Milton does it again.
Borgie again on a blitz. Levis pocket collapses. He's on the run. He just heaves it up. And it's intercepted by Vanderbilt. And let the celebration begin. The streak is over at 26. The Commodores win it.
Talk about Vanderbilt football. All I gotta say, and you're going to hell. Bye.
The final edition of Where's the Line? It is Wednesday, December 4th. This is episode number 147. I'm Britt Dillard, joined here by Joseph West. How are you today, Joseph?
Britt, I'm fantastic. How are you, brother?
Doing good. Bittersweet moment. This will be our final edition, the finale, if you will, of Where's the Line?
I mean, that right there, my heart will go on with WTL. I'll say that.
It will. Mine will too, but we'll say goodbye later.
That's right.
Thank you guys for listening, but we have some things to talk about. No games next week. Only one game to cover from this past weekend. Tennessee took on Vanderbilt. Joseph was there.
Greatest week of
Joseph,
the year.
how was the game experience?
Game experience was awesome. Without stepping on my three key takeaways or anything too much, I will say like the first 7 minutes of the game was absolute electricity. Like
I would say so, yeah.
For the stadium itself, like the away side was, I mean, outside of the student section, and the student section was, I mean, it's Thanksgiving week, so they're all, no one's there. But so like you maybe had couple hundred students in the student section, probably like halfway full with actual students, and after that it was kind of just like UT fans had migrated over into the top or half of the student section. So like outside of that little section and maybe a couple fans here and there, that whole section was orange, like normal, like nothing different from past times. So that whole section was orange. And when we first got in there, I said, like, usually UT game especially, UT fans are going to be loud early. Like UT fans are just always, when they've come to Vandy in the past, they were loud early. They weren't loud early. I don't know if it was maybe they were nervous, like they were like, maybe Vanderbilt could knock us off today or whatever it was. I'm not saying that they were. I'm just saying the vibe was different from years past. Like a lot of I just thought they were more quiet than they have been. And that's not saying anything bad. It's just giving the vibe.
That's completely understandable. And I wouldn't say, listen, I'm nervous for every game. I don't care who we're playing. I'm nervous.
I get that.
Going into the game, I can understand why somebody there may be quiet, because obviously the opening kickoff gets ran back. 2 plays later, Vanderbilt has the ball again and goes on a 5-minute, 20-something yard drive. And you're like, holy crap.
This is the game plan.
You're like, I was texting people. I said, it's over. I said, Vanderbilt is going to kill the clock. It's over. It's 14-0 with 10 minutes left in the first quarter. So I would have been mad. I probably would have got up and left, to be honest with you, if I was a UT fan there.
Yeah, they but like even before the opening kickoff, like it was just more relatively quiet than I thought. I remembered it being in years past. Maybe that's recency bias. I don't know. But regardless, it was just a little bit more quiet than I thought. Then Vanderbilt takes the opening kickoff to the crib, And so just to give a little story of why it was so electric to begin the game, I've been doing this thing since about week 7 called the Magic Ball. So I'll just hold my hand out and be like, Magic Ball, we need this, and I'll say it. I said to start the game, I said I either want a Nate Johnson touchdown on the first drive or want playmakers do something electric. And of course, you don't even get to the offense because your playmaker, Junior Sherrill, your best receiving threat, takes the kickoff to the house. I swear to you not, before Vanderbilt kicked the ball out, I'll pull the Magic Ball out. I say on the second play of this Tennessee drive, we will get a turnover. Rub the Magic Ball. Dylan Sampson fumbled. I'm not saying I made Dylan Sampson fumble with some voodoo, but I could have. And then from there, it obviously went downhill for Vanderbilt for most of the game from there. Britt, do you have any opening thoughts? Sorry, I kind of rambled, but do you have any opening thoughts here?
Oh no, I think we're ready to just dive into it with just kind of some key takeaways. My number one takeaway, just kind of a broad kind of overview of the game, is this Vanderbilt team was beat up. And I don't think it was really any one player. I thought Diego Pavia didn't necessarily look unhealthy, but I think as a team collectively, the depth just isn't quite there to make it through, not to make it through a season, but to fight as hard as Vanderbilt does and play the way that they do to make it through a full season.
Yeah. To kind of add on to that, I don't want to go through a full game recap or anything, but just to get to some key plays. One, Vanderbilt is up in this game 17-7 after the first quarter. It is 17-7. Vanderbilt has the ball. It is second down, and Vanderbilt is on UT's 38-yard line. This is the series that costed Vanderbilt the football game. Vanderbilt runs a trick play, reverse pass. Richie Hoskins hits Cole Spence for a first down, but he freaking drops it. People were critiquing the throw. It's a trick play. Your slot receiver is throwing a pass. The throw is, we should not expect the throw to be perfect. How about tight end catches the ball? Okay, so tight end catches the ball. Then, next play, Diego Pavia drops back, throws a jump ball. I hate this play call. Hats off to Jermond McCoy. I've talked about him on this podcast in the past. He's a good corner, and he made a good play. Also, the ball got there was luck involved as well. Good play plus luck. Good things happen. He gets the pick. But the reason I hate the play call is not because you threw it at Jermond McCoy. It's because of who you threw it to. What is Junior Sherrill doing? He's 5'11". Why are you throwing him a jump ball? I just don't get it. It's a terrible – I'm not even mad at Diego for throwing the pick. I'm mad at it for even being on the play sheet. Like, why is that one of your only two routes? So, to me, Britt kind of already mentioned that he said Vanderbilt or UT had lost the game when it was 14-0. When Vanderbilt threw the pick, I said, if UT scores right here, we lost the game. In order for Vanderbilt to win this game, they had to crush their soul early. That's what they did to Bama. That was Vanderbilt's recipe to success. Crush their soul. 24-3 is soul crushing. 17-7 is not scary. Or sorry, 24-7 is soul crushing. 17-7 is not scary. It's 2 scores, UT's right back in it. Two scores, you've got the lead. And that's what UT did. They outscored a 17-0 in the second quarter.
The second quarter is what it came down to, and
it did.
I know Brent Hubbs read off the stats, but it was like Nico's numbers versus Pavia's, and then just total yards and points. Obviously, it was like Tennessee just dominated the second quarter.
They did. Vanderbilt went for it on a fourth down. I don't remember if that was in the second or third quarter. I believe it might have been the third.
I think it was the drive, or maybe 2 drives after the interception. And
okay,
to me,
so second quarter.
Other than the interception, I was like, that's a turning point. And I think Tennessee
agreed.
may have even taken the lead at that point, and you were like, okay, that's a big deal.
When Vanderbilt didn't get that fourth down, first of all, I was screaming in the stadium to go for it. I wanted nothing more than for Vanderbilt. You will never hear me complaining when Vanderbilt is playing not only an arch rival, but a top 10 team in the country, playoffs on the line in rivalry week. Like, you're going to beat them or to get beat by 100. There's no losing by 6. Like, we should be playing to get killed or to win outright. That's what they did, so I was happy. I hate the play call again, though. It's another bad play. It's a one-man route. The only option was Eli Stowers. We ran a one-man route on 4th down and 1 yard and 6 inches. You ran a passing play action one-man route. I don't get it. I just think that's brain dead. I think you just overthought it and you were like, you know what would work right here? A play action pass to a double move to our tight end. Like I think it sounds stupid when you say it out loud too. It doesn't make any sense. He may have had him early in the play, and maybe if he forces it and it gets caught, I'm not critiquing it, but still I feel like I hate it either way. Other than that, there's not a whole lot to talk about. Vanderbilt ends up scoring a touchdown in the 4th quarter to maybe try to do something. Vanderbilt has UT at like a 3rd down and 8. If you get a stop inside UT's 20, get the ball back and score, you would have cut it to a 6-point game with roughly 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go. That would have required Vanderbilt's defense to get a stop, which they didn't prove to me that they could do. So I doubt it, but it's 3rd and 8 for UT and they hand the ball off up the middle and they get a first down. That was also unacceptable. There was just some brain dead things, I think, from this coaching staff in the game. Several absolute, once again, I'm not going into it. This is not the reason Vanderbilt lost. I had to defend myself on Twitter for some tweets. But once again, the refs are bad. I thought both of the rough and I'll comment on several things actually about the game, and then I'll get into some key takeaways. And I promise, Britt, I'm going to give you the chance to comment after this. A couple things that I would like to take away from this game. One, number 6 for Vanderbilt. If you're a UT fan, I'm sure you've seen him running his mouth. His name's Colby Taylor. He should never step foot on the field again for Vanderbilt. If he's back next year, it's a joke. This dude sucks. He's Kamal Hadden, but he's really, really bad. Like really, really bad. So Kamal Hadden, if he really sucks. Kamal Hadden? Yeah, I mean, yes. Even though I know you gave him some respect.
So, I'm joking. He got better.
So he did get better. Colby Taylor has not gotten better. He talks a lot and he sucks. So he sucks and he does not deserve to be on the field. Also, to hate on a UT player that ran his mouth a lot, 74 Spraggins, I think. Is that right? Is he 74? Oh, yeah. He runs his mouth a lot too, and he likes to dive at feet in piles, and I hated that. So screw him while we're talking about people that were talking trash and doing stupid stuff. But both the rough and to get to the refs, though, my point, both of the rough and passers calls on Diego Pavia were bad. The second one I can see because he took an extra shove off camera. They didn't even show it on the replay, at least in the stadium. I understand that one to an extent. To me, though, still, I don't like the call. The holding call on the big kick, the only way Vanderbilt could have ever came back and won was on that kickoff that Junior Cheryl took 60 yards with a short field. Maybe
they didn't show it.
So and it's an absolute phantom holding call. They showed the replay in the stadium. I couldn't, like, it's not even, I'm telling you, even Britt or Donald Davis or Cody Hutcherson, all the UT homers would watch that kickoff and say, man, there's not holding there. It was bad. My point is not to say that the refs costed Vanderbilt the game, because I've commented on players and coaches alike on the reason Vanderbilt lost this game, and we'll get into it more even. But it just goes to further the point that me and Britt have talked about this year. And since I won't get a chance next year to harp on it on Where's the Line, I better get on it right now. Fix the refs. Sure. Fix the refs. Please fix the refs. It's unacceptable.
It's more common than ever that, listen, every sports fan is going to scream about holding and pass interference, but there are some plays that are just obvious that do not get called. And it sucks because it's you don't want to be the guy to complain about it, but at a certain point you're like, you start to think, like, am I losing my mind? Is that not a hold?
And then also something else that I'm not even saying it was the right or wrong spot, but on a 3rd down play, they mark UT a yard short. Then the refs huddle up, move the ball 2 yards, and give them the first down. And everybody was so confused in the stadium. They never came over the PA system and said, New York told us to respot or Birmingham told us to respot the ball. I'm not saying it was wrong. First of all, he did look short on the replay, but we only got it one time, so I couldn't tell really. He looked short. I'm just saying, how do you get no explanation? That's my thing. How do you get nothing? Like, these dudes are just, they can do whatever they want. It's like a police officer on the football field, just the ultimate power trip. We can get away with whatever we want to get away with. What are we doing?
It'd be different if they were confident in what they were doing, because they'll do something like in a big moment and they're all talking and looking like, I don't know. Yeah. And then they also just do something.
On the false start or on the neutral zone infraction, they called it on
Holy
Langston
crap.
Patterson.
Which one? There was like 20.
Yeah, they're all coming in doing a different signal. The back refs calling a false start, the side refs calling offsides. They meet in the middle. They show the replay. Langston Patterson is at least 8 to 9 inches away from the neutral zone, and they called it a neutral zone infraction. That was the one that almost sent me over the edge. The man on the sidelines called a false start. The fact that the man with the white hat, the lead judge, the fact that we let him overrule the side judge who has a better view is insane. That the man in the white hat, I screamed it, and actually a bunch of UT fans turned around and told me it was funny, and we started laughing back and forth together. But I literally said, send the man in the white hat to Alcatraz. Send him to Gitmo. Send that dude somewhere where he can never get free, because it's unacceptable. His actions on the field today have been truly unacceptable.
The thing that set me off, and it was at a point in the game, it didn't matter. I think it was late in the third quarter. Javonte Spraggins, we're getting ready to run a play. All of a sudden, there's a flag, false start, Javonte Spraggins. And I'm like, what? He didn't move. They show the replay, and it was a false start. It was just the slightest movement. And I'm like, okay, but if you look across college football, the left and right tackle will be in movement before the ball is snapped. I'm like,
they got that half second.
It's so annoying. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
But I don't want to talk about refs.
Just call it consistently. Once again, that is my bicker. That is my bicker, just to call it consistently. Britt, go ahead.
Another, my second takeaway, Joseph kind of touched on a few moments where Vanderbilt had an opportunity to either get a stop or score. And it seems like after the 14-0 lead, all of those moments went in Tennessee's favor. The Tennessee's first touchdown was on 3rd and 14 at between the 30 and 40 yard line. There were several 4th down stops Tennessee got, several 3rd downs they converted. I think that just shows Tennessee's a veteran team. A lot of and I thought you got really good quarterback play Saturday. Outside of the one bad interception, I thought Nico was pretty dang good.
Yeah.
Now the interception was terrible, but.
And that's actually something that's my first takeaway was, what was the coverage? And the reason I say that is because, so Vanderbilt, if you didn't know, if you've watched any Vanderbilt games this year and paid attention, you understand that Vanderbilt was running a different defensive scheme on Saturday than they've literally ran for the first 4 years of Clark Lee. They were in a 3-3-5. Vanderbilt normally runs a 4-2-5. So Vanderbilt lines up in a 3-3-5. They did that because we have 5 D linemen hurt. We don't really have the depth to rotate 4 D linemen in consistently, so we went to 3, try to keep our guys fresh with 3 linebackers in and 5 secondary guys. The first touchdown they scored, the slant over the middle to Dante Thornton, I believe it was like a 20-yard touchdown. The first touchdown they scored, you just get beat. You're in man coverage. You sit your safety down in the box. That's fine. That's going to happen. True freshman corner against a good receiver and a good quarterback. You didn't get home. That's fine. I'm not mad at that. Second touchdown that gets scored is like a 60-yard touchdown by Dante Thornton again, I think. Was it Dante Thornton again?
Yeah.
Dante Thornton again. You're in cover 1. If you don't know what cover 1 is, basically everybody's in main coverage. Your safety's over the top. Your safety is going to take depending on how you're running it, the person who gets beat first. How in the world the safety got underneath the pass is beyond me. How he got fed into the box, I get it. You're focused on the run. I said it myself on this podcast. Dylan Sampson's the machine of the offense. I get it. But, man, you've got one job, and you've got a true freshman out there trying to guard a veteran receiver. You can't get caught in the box. That's unacceptable. The pass right before halftime to the tight end, I've watched UT run that play probably 5 or 6 times this year. So if I think that it's coming and I'm in the stands 47 rows up, and I literally said, watch that little pass to the tight end. Okay, we should know what's coming, team. The fact, once again, that you get lost in the box as the strong safety or as the boundary safety, I have no idea what you're doing. So it also sucks that 2 of those 3 plays that I just talked about, CJ Taylor was out for. It was his backup in. I get it. But, my first takeaway was secondary. It's not good. It needs to get better for Vanderbilt. Your secondary sucks. Make it get better. I said you had to make Nico beat you. Instead, you let him complete the easiest one-on-one throws that I feel like Adam Goolsby or any Gordonsville quarterback could have made at Gordonsville or any other 1A school. So, like, I'm pissed. Not to say all Gordonsville quarterbacks suck. That's kind of what it sounded like. That wasn't what I was
a
saying.
Gordonsville quarterback, okay? I was second string quarterback and third string defensive end in the 7th and 8th grade. So watch it.
And shout out to Adam, because I know you listen to this podcast, Goose. So Goose, thank you for listening.
But all 4 of Tennessee's touchdowns came on a play action pass. I said Nico played good. It was set up for Nico to play good. He had all day to throw. A lot of times Vanderbilt just brought 3 or 4, which allows you to drop some. But Nico had a bunch of time. Receivers got open. Receivers caught the ball. It was really it was set up good for Nico to have a breakout game, which kind of came in the perfect moment. Outside of the first quarter of UTEP, after the second half of Alabama, Nico's been pretty dang good.
He underthrew the one ball that you talked about to Martel Height, where Martel Height picked it off. And then he underthrew the other 2 passes that he underthrew were both to Colby Taylor. He got bailed out on a PI on both of them because Colby Taylor is brain dead and has no idea how to get his hand around. But he underthrew both of those, and I was like, this is the recipe. This is the recipe. Make him throw it deep. Make him connect on a couple of those. Like, don't get beat on the 20-yard slant, on the 15-yard slant. Like, I hated it.
That is where Tennessee is at their best, when they hit throws over the middle, and we haven't been able to hit shots over the top on the outside of the numbers. But between the numbers, Nico, I think he's like 64% for like 3/4 of his touchdowns. It's similar numbers to Hendon Hooker as far as completion percentage. And then there was a big dip between Hendon and Nico for some reason. But he's kind of peaking at the right time, and your receivers are banged up. It gave an opportunity for some guys to step up, Mike Matthews and Chris Brazzell. Chris Brazzell had a great game. He had 2 or 3 huge catches, and then Mike Matthews obviously had a touchdown. So you've got 3 weeks to get healthy. You're going to play Ohio State in Columbus probably. Give me that. Give me Ohio State. Don't care who we play after that. Give me Ohio State.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Second takeaway here for me from the game is that Vanderbilt's offensive line, I've crapped on them a lot this year. They played really good football through 2 quarters. I have came on here and talked about how good DUT's defensive line was, and Vanderbilt's O-line in the first half pushed them around pretty much however they wanted to. Even though they didn't score any points in the second quarter, they had their way. Your playmakers and you had receivers just that couldn't get open. So that was kind of the second takeaway. Third takeaway is the improvement is evident. The improvement is absolutely evident. This team has gotten better, but there's still a way to go. She don't want a puppy. She want a big dog. And if she want a big dog, then you're going to have to step up on the porch with the big dogs, and you got to keep improving if you want to be up there. So keep improving. There's still more room to go. You made 8, 9 good portal additions last year. We need 10, 11, 12, 13 this year. So that's what it is for me. The improvement is evident, but you have to get even better if you want to compete with teams that are in the next tier than you week in and week out. So get better. Try to get the depth up, get healthy. Like Britt said, we definitely were not healthy. I thought Seti looked the best he's looked in a couple weeks, though. He ran hard in the first quarter. Diego, man, he just looks beat up. I mean, poor guy. He does. He looks beat up. His court hearing was today. So best of luck to him. Pavia versus the NCAA. We hate those guys.
Yeah, that is interesting. My last note on the game, your special teams and defensive and offensive and just overall, what's the word? Discipline. Got to be better. Special teams, not taking anything away from Skinner, fast guy, good play, good blocks. Clearly,
Cheryl.
Oh, Cheryl. Yeah.
There we go.
Cheryl,
that's all right.
Great job, sir. Clearly just not in our lanes on special teams. It was like we've gotten to the point where nobody ever returns a kickoff. you still got to get in the end zone. So we just kind of lollygag down there, and we're like, oh crap, Vanderbilt is actually playing
Taking this
football, and
back.
and we're not trying. That's got to be better. And then the false starts and offsides especially on defense. The offsides are ridiculous. Like, we've got to. I don't know how that's not coachable. Just look at the ball. I mean, that's as a third string defensive end, you just look at the ball. That's how you know when to run.
UT players, for some reason, did get several offsides and false starts. And shout out to the UT fans right behind me. They were relatively funny. And every time UT would get a false start or an offsides, I would jump up and I would just start going my hand. If you're watching the video, I would start going my hand like this and go, "Stadium pulse, stadium pulse." And they was laughing. Obviously, it's a joke. I understand that we're not the loudest stadium in the SEC or anything. So, but it was funny. And I didn't understand why they kept doing it either. It kept happening, though, throughout the game. And it's not like, it was relatively loud or anything. So, but yeah, I mean, also just shout out to Vanderbilt special teams. I just wanted to say that Vanderbilt special teams is actually so good. We're one of the best special teams. We're rated the best special teams unit in the country. Mercosette, he pinned UT within the 5 twice. Nothing came out of it. You're doing your job. Defense couldn't hold on. Shout out to our special teams. They try to do their thing. Ultimately, Vanderbilt just didn't do the little things. You couldn't get a stop when you pinned them deep. Quincy Skinner dropped a touchdown pass right in his hands. You committed a couple stupid penalties. You got an unsportsmanlike conduct with Colby Taylor. Thought it would be a good idea to take out the machine gun and shoot people. So, like, I don't know, man. I'm not even mad, honestly. I'm not mad about it. It's just like those things are just like, this is stupid. Clean it up. Like, get better. Yeah. Last game of the season, get better.
Yeah, Tennessee's got to clean up the stupid penalties, before we get to Ohio State for sure. But Vanderbilt, just kind of looking over the season before the bowl game. 6-6. Where are we bowling, Joseph?
I think Tampa. I think they're going to put us in the Gasparilla Bowl. Tampa.
Is that the Outback Bowl?
I don't think so. No, I'm pretty sure that one's in Orlando, maybe. But yeah,
I just remember the Outback Bowl used to be in Tampa.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt started 5-2 and then lost 4 of their last 5. But I mean, you played LSU, Texas, South Carolina, and Tennessee, 3 ranked teams there. Well, three top 15 teams, or top 12, 13 teams. If you look at it going into the game, I mean, Vanderbilt was the growth is apparent. And it's, Joseph said Vanderbilt didn't do the small things during the Tennessee game, but overall this year, when you look at a good team, if you look at like a Nick Saban team, I think we would agree that he had some pretty good teams. A well-coached team, let's say that. They don't commit many penalties. They're solid in special teams, and they don't turn the ball over. And I think that you could say all 3 of those things Vanderbilt was, I want to say, elite at this year, like best in the SEC at this year. So
yeah, that's what it takes. That's what it takes when you're out talented, or at least you're out depth. So every other team that you play is going to be able to just outman you in the 3rd and 4th quarter. You have to do the little things right. You can't drop a ball on 4th down. Like, Quincy Skinner dropping that ball, that could have been the difference in the game when it was all said and done. Maybe it worked out different. If you catch that ball on the trick play, maybe Vanderbilt, like Britt said earlier, they had a 5-minute drive from like the 30. Maybe they waste another 5 minutes, and then the time of possession is completely different. Also, on this podcast last week, I said Vanderbilt had to get at 36 minutes and they would win this game pretty much with ease. They got to, I believe it was 26 minutes, and I'm pulling that up. It was 26 minutes, 25 seconds on time of possession. Tennessee had 33. So you're about a 10-minute difference. You got totally outgained, 212 yards to 530 for Tennessee. So, I mean, ultimately, outside of the first quarter, you just got dominated. Just to get better. But just because we're not doing a full another, like, usually the next episode would be a season recap and just going over how we grade our teams. Since we're not going to do that, I will just get it out right here. And I'm not saying Britt has to, but For me, I give Clark Lee a B plus. I give Clark Lee and the staff a B plus. I think you're in a really good situation. I think if you win the bowl game, it's still a B plus. Or if you lose the bowl game, it maybe goes down to a B minus. But win the bowl game, it's a B plus. You'll have your first winning season since Franklin. You'll have the most hype you've had since 2012. Going into or 2013, going into the next year when you lost to Temple. So you have an attractive situation right now. You had a week this year where you just took over college football. Everybody talked about you all week. I would point to that to recruit people and say, look, you can be the next Diego Pavia. You can be the guy that everybody's talking about, getting interviews on every SEC show, ESPN. You can be that guy for us. So I think it started the foundation. It started what you need in order to be successful. So B plus for me if I'm giving grades out.
I'll give a grade. I give Tennessee a B plus as well. You met the expectation. The expectation was to make the playoff. How you got there is not really what we expected, but you still got there. You're kind of peaking at the right time. I think Tennessee played their most complete game, really, against Vanderbilt. So that came at the perfect time. Win a playoff game, it's an A plus, I would say. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm getting sad.
No, I understand.
We're approaching the end here.
We're approaching the end of the episode here. It is it's gonna be. I was thinking about this earlier. I was thinking about me not being able to rant after the game, and I got sad. I was like, dang, I'm not gonna be able to go off about the refs or about the opponent or about Shane Beamer, or anyone else that I really dislike. So
Well, what's really weird is going to be watching games, and it will pop into my head. Oh, we can talk about that on the podcast.
Yeah,
because the last 3 seasons, that's what it's been. Even like sitting in person watching a game, I'm like, oh yeah, we need to jot that down. We need to talk about that. So, I'm not saying I will miss that. I think I might miss it, but that will be an adjustment for sure.
No, I agree. For Vandy though, just kind of recap. You're still going bowling. I'm still really happy with the season. I said that if you would have beat UT, it was an A plus, and that's because I think if you have 2 top 10 wins when you'd never beat one before, I think that's insane. So yeah, I think you had the potential for this season to be really good, but regardless, go see what you can do in the portal and look towards the future. This should be the foundation. This should be what Vanderbilt does every year. Vanderbilt should go 6-6 every year, and from time to time dip a little bit below it. Maybe you have a 5-7 year, but you should never go winless in the SEC. But this should be the floor. This should be the start of the foundation. Good years, you win 8, 9, 10 games. And bad years, you're 6, 5, 6, 7. So start here, make it something, make it mean something, build off this. If they don't build off this next year, Vanderbilt goes back and goes 3-9, this season meant nothing. So you got to build off of it.
Yeah, Tennessee honestly had a pretty good run for the life of this podcast. I know in football, the program completely turned around. Even just in the past year, you won it in baseball, you went to the Elite Eight in basketball, and now you're in the playoff in football. So if Tennessee falls apart here, we may have to start it back up.
Yeah, Tennessee athletics will go down the drain, and then Britt will be asking to do the pod again. So that will be quite the turnaround if that happens. But I think that for me, this is the most fun I've ever had as a Vanderbilt fan. I know we only won 6 games, and we've had seasons we won more games than this, but the last time Vanderbilt was good, I was 13 years old, and it's just different this time around. We beat the number 1 team in the country. It was a fun year. I was able to go to a lot of games. I got to watch us beat Auburn on the road. I was able to go to Missouri and watch us fight there too. And this year was just different. It's the most fun I've ever had. And Vanderbilt football's kind of sucked the whole time that Where's the Line's been around. But there's been some electric moments on Where's the Line for the Doors. So hard for me to complain too much about the history of the Doors and Where's the Line.
I think you left it better than you found it.
Agreed. I 100% agree. Yeah, when we started up, Vanderbilt really sucked. We're coming off. Look, we're going bowling for the first time since 2018, and we have a chance to have the first winning season since 2013. So, let's just stop it here, and I'll be able to look back on greatness. I'll be able to look back as this was the foundation.
This has easily been the most civil episode after the Tennessee Vanderbilt game.
I agree.
Joseph, before we say goodbye,
That's right.
what do you say one last time?
Somebody needs
One
my
last
advice.
time we get in the love corner.
Yeah.
One last time
Hey.
for the people.
Good news is, guys, now I've been in a relationship about 9 months, so I'm basically a doctor now. I can give legal good advice now.
All right, I've
So
got
take this.
four.
Take this and write
Yep.
it down, whatever I got to say.
I've got 4 bangers right here. I've got 4
Hit me.
bangers. We're going to start off a little bit light.
Okay, I'm ready.
My girlfriend blocked every girl on my Instagram while I was in the shower. How do I react?
I don't like that. I think that's weird, me personally. I don't like you going and doing anything without my permission, especially on my stuff. If you're married, it's one thing, because then what's yours is hers, and she has the permission to get on your phone if she would like. I still think that means it's weird. Because I do think in order to be in a relationship, you have to trust them fully. And obviously, if we're going to block every girl on an Instagram story, on an Instagram, we're one, we don't trust them. And 2, we got some insecurities we probably need to work on, guys. So with that being said, how do you react? I think you got to break up with her. That would be my take on it. I'm going, listen, if you're listening to this and your girlfriend took your phone, bro, she took your phone and she blocked every girl on her Instagram story, she has serious personal issues. And I'm being dead serious.
And,
I would break up with her.
and I completely agree with you, but it just kind of depends on what kind of woman you're looking for. Some guys out here like girls with personal issues. Some guys like crazy girls. So
That's true. I do.
I'm just going to leave it up to you. If you like crazy, then maybe this makes you excited.
And do it. I agree.
It gives you a challenge. Okay. This one's a little bit heavier here.
I'm ready. Get heavy.
My wife's friend cheated on her fiance at her bachelorette party. My wife doesn't think it's that big of a deal since it's a guy that she will never see again. What are your thoughts? This is crazy to me.
Do what? I couldn't have heard the question correctly, because I thought you said that somebody cheated on somebody on their bachelorette trip. Is that correct?
That is it.
Well, let me tell you this right here. First of all, I'll say this. There's things that I'll let go, and there's things you can't let go. Things you can't let go are things that are just morally wrong. Just morally,
Make you question the whole
unrecoverable.
person. Yeah.
Yep. And that is one of those things. You cheated on somebody when literally, this is the thing I don't get about bachelorette trips, is that it's literally supposed to be a trip celebrating that your friend, your lifelong friend, you're not going to get to see him as much anymore. So you're celebrating them one last time together, you and your friends. But you're celebrating them uniting with someone they love. And so you just threw that away with some Domingo man in Puerto Rico, and I just think that's stupid. Listen, if you cheat on your significant other and you tell me, don't tell me, because I'm telling on you. Because I'm not gonna call them and be like, hey, your man's cheated on you. But if they ask me, I ain't lying for you. That's on you.
Yeah.
Unless you're my boy. If you're my boy.
Okay. Yeah.
If you're my boy, though, I ain't ratting you out unless you're married. If you're married, you better not be messing around like that. If it's just your girlfriend, I look the other way.
It was like my bachelor trip. I mean, we grilled some steaks, just some guys hanging out, made some homemade macaroni, some shrimp, get in the hot tub,
steaks, get in the hot tub,
jump off a cliff. We did some cliff jumping.
I mean, we had a ball.
Yeah. It's grown.
It was just men out on the boat on a lake, just jumping off cliffs. I didn't. I stayed on the boat because I was scared. The cliffs were high, guys. Okay, they were like 40 feet up there.
They were high.
All right, they were high, and I didn't want no part of that. So I controlled the vibes. I had aux, and I was just playing the music.
If I didn't think there was a chance I would die, I probably wouldn't have jumped off.
Yeah, I get that. He wanted to die because he
was
didn't
a
want to get
joke.
married.
That was a
He
joke.
was he was scared to get married.
That was a joke. Okay, moving on. These two are a little bit lighter. These are
Okay,
nice.
I like the light ones. I like the
Okay,
light ones.
my girlfriend of 6 months, who is 25 years old, just told me that she has 3 kids. Girlfriend of 6 months. How do I process this?
I think this one is hard. I do. So for me personally, I always said before I got a girlfriend who has no kids, for the record, that I always said though that if I met a girl who I really liked and she had a kid, that wouldn't be a deal breaker for me. It's just me personally, it wouldn't be a deal breaker for me as an individual. Now that was before I accepted my call to preach. Obviously, biblically speaking, there is something wrong. I mean, assuming that she's also been married, then you're committing adultery. Yeah, a lot of biblical things that go into it. So that aside, though, before all that happened, I said it wouldn't be a deal breaker. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, I think I'm not mad at her waiting 6 months because one, I think when you have kids, you have to think about the kids. You have to think about, okay, can I see this person being a parent? Can I see this person can I see this person helping me out with the kids? And so with that being said, if he's not going to meet her standards for the kids, then she really has no business telling him. So to my standard, she's gotten serious with him at 6 months and she's like, hey, I didn't want to tell you, I didn't want to scare you off with this, but now we've gotten to a point where before we move any further, you got to know this.
Man, imagine that conversation.
So if that's the way it went, I think it's a fair, I don't know. I think it's just personal preference, honestly. I think it depends on how you feel about the situation as an individual. You know,
how much do you love this girl?
It takes a big person in order to, quite frankly, raise someone else's kids and be a part of it and a part of the, because one thing is, the ex is going to be a part of their life for the rest of their life.
I respect that.
Yeah.
I mean, any man that does that for sure. And
me too.
Not at all talking crap about that.
No,
I was just brought it up because I couldn't imagine having that conversation.
Yeah, no, crazy conversation to have. I think this is a tough question, but I think it's all up to the individual here. I'm gonna say this is a case by case basis. There isn't a certain way that you should respond.
I think if you truly love this girl to this person, who is this? Hold on, who wrote this? Civil_anxiety 1518 on Reddit.
Anxiety. Okay.
If you truly love this girl and you break up with her, that just don't feel right to me. That seems icky to me. To leave this girl.
I'm on the opposite trend.
Now, if you're already like, I don't know about this girl, perfect timing. Goodbye.
If you love this woman, there is okay, let me put it this way. All that should matter when you're with somebody is that you love them and they love you. That's all that should matter. But sadly, we live in a world where that's not all that matters. So with that being said, you got to think of it from this perspective, Brett. What if that person's just a 22-year-old dude and he's just not ready? He's like, hey, I'm just not ready to put others before me. I'm just not ready for that. I think that's perfectly acceptable, and I don't think that makes him a bad guy. You can love her and just be like, hey, I don't think I'm ready for that.
No, I don't have any issues with that if you truly look at it that way and think it through.
Yeah. And I think that would be, maybe not all people would go there, but that would be my first train of thought, would be, dang, I'd really have to grow up relatively quickly.
Yeah, for sure.
So answer that one, guys. Thank you.
Okay, last one here.
Last one, let's go. Last Love Corner question ever on WTL.
My boyfriend bought us a dog knowing that I didn't want one, and we live together. What is the appropriate response? I'm going to answer this first. You can't get rid of the dog. If you bring a dog home, it's your dog. And I've seen people around Smith County posting, hey, I've got this dog. He's super sweet. I just don't want a dog anymore. You're the worst person on earth. If you get rid of a dog for the sole reason that you just don't like the commitment anymore, that's pitiful. You're a pitiful human if you just get rid of a dog.
I agree. I think that's interesting.
Now, if you just brought the dog home, I guess that is a little bit different.
Yeah. Also weird to go get a dog. Okay, so here's another thing. When you live with somebody, you make the commitment pretty much that, hey, anything I do, I gotta run it by this person just out of respect. So I do think it may be kind of disrespectful that you just brought the dog home. Now, I don't know if you should return the dog. I think you're going to end up liking the dog. Dogs are cool to have around. So, like, I think you're probably going to end up liking it. But I don't think the correct answer is to take the dog back. But I do think a question should be asked or a conversation should be had about, like, hey, I directly told you I didn't want a dog. Why did you do this? Like, do we have did I not communicate that well? Do you struggle with, like, do you not respect me? Like, I would ask some questions because I feel like it would be slightly disrespectful.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So
I want a dog. I'm ready to get a dog. My wife doesn't want to get a dog. She wants to
see,
get a cat. I don't want to get a cat.
nah, get a cat. Cats are awesome. Get you a little cat, Britt. I'm telling you, I love my cat. My cat's awesome. Shadow, she's a beast.
Shadow is awesome.
She's such
Shadow
a
is
chill
pretty cool.
cat. She never gets mad. She just lays around. She'll come up. She'll lay on you. She's a cool cat.
All right, maybe I'll get one.
See, cat time.
But that's it.
All right,
That's it.
guys, that's it.
Goodbye.
Seriously, golly, when this started, I think October. I'll tell you what. Let me go get our first podcast date really quick. But when this started, I mean, this started because me and Britt will be together if we're together a whole day, right? So, like, on this particular day, we had went fishing. We had hung out since like 4 o'clock in the morning together. We started this podcast November 15th of 2021. We had been together all morning. We were lunatics at this point. And me and Britt were the world's worst about being like, man, we should do this, and it would never happen. I mean, we'd be like, man, we need to go race go-karts in Nashville, and we've still never done it. Or we'd be like, man, we got to go. Like, we would be like, we got to join a bowling league. Let's get into bowling. And we didn't do it forever until we finally did. But just one day, Britt was like, man, let's start a podcast just talking about sports. And I was like, dude, let's do it. And Britt was like, I'll Venmo you for the mic right now. I was like, I found 2 mics. They're $108 a piece. Never forget. Less than like 2 minutes later, I got a $110 Venmo from Britt. And that's how it started. That's how it started. I mean, just two friends just saying, hey, let's do something fun. Neither one of us were life wasn't too crazy yet. And we just, we went with it ever since. So it's 2024. It is it's December. So official, a whole 3 years since the first episode, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Since that day, I mean, I've graduated college. I've worked at 3 different places. I've moved twice. I got married. A lot of stuff has happened, and I mean, when we started out, I was on my laptop from college and using some sort of bootleg, black market, dark web recording software.
I bought a MacBook that I'm still using right now for this podcast. I bought a MacBook.
Yeah, me too, and it will probably never get used again. But yeah, it has been fun. I have looked forward to it. It has not always been fun, but overall it has been a great experience. Obviously I've enjoyed fellowshipping with you, Joseph. I think it has strengthened our friendship a lot. And it's given us a small voice, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, very, very true. We had just a couple of our podcasts got, the last time I had checked, over like 250 streams. So I mean, just for 250 people to come on here and listen to us, I mean, was pretty awesome for me. And I there's so many big things. Shout out to, I can't say much yet, but shout out to another podcast I listen to a lot, The Door Report. Spotify Rap came out today. They were my number 1. Like, I just see them having big things happen, and it's so awesome. And but just to see us, like, what I was trying to say there was, like, with what they're doing and how big they're getting is awesome. And like, that's how it felt for me when I was like, okay, we got 200 listeners. Like when Tennessee beat Alabama in 22, we got 163 listens. And I was like, holy crap. Like, that was just crazy. 163 people got on here and listened to what we had to say.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that you guys will get to hear more of Joseph somewhere else, but for me, I mean, this is it. Y'all, I'm dead after this. As far as internet's concerned, I'm dead. I'm
I'm
gone.
AFK.
I'm not a poster on
Dead on arrival.
social media. So before I go, I do want to leave everybody with a few thoughts to remember me by. Number
I'm
one,
listening.
be nice. Be nice to each other. Just be
Very
nice.
true.
I mean, if me and Joseph can be nice, me and Joseph agree on a lot of things. We disagree on a whole lot of things,
Very
sports
true.
wise. Just be nice. Get a relationship with God, cultivate it,
Amen.
talk to him. That's the most important thing we can do as people. Never forget that Jermaine Burton assaulted an innocent woman on live television. And thank you very much.
Also one thing really quick, before we end this podcast, because since we don't have a sponsor, I get to say this. If you're interested in sports cards, speaking of Jermaine Burton, I have a 1-of-1 autographed card by Jermaine Burton. If you are interested in that, but I go live all the time on an app called Whatnot. This is what, like the word not, N-O-T. It's Whatnot. My name on there is Bottom of the Night Sports. It has like a little baseball logo on it. Come stop by, buy some cards from me. I'm selling cards. I go live about twice a week. So there's this one shameless plug.
Yeah, I was trying to be. I was kind of in my fields, and you just came in with an advertisement.
I had to come in with the light shameless plug. I meant to do that in the beginning because I knew the end was going to be more serious. But yeah, look this. If you're watching on video here, this is the logo, Bottom of the Night Sports there. That will probably change within the next couple weeks. But yeah, shameless plug. To not leave Britt as the only one in his fields. I have enjoyed this. I hope I get a something else going within the next 6 to 7 months. But I probably will take a hiatus for a little bit as I focus on continuing to get my bag up and doing some other things. So hopefully you will get to hear me somewhere else. If not, you may not even care to hear me somewhere else. So if you don't, that's cool. But if hopefully I get a chance somewhere else. If you're listening to this and you have a announcing job opening or anything like that, I'm interested in any field when it comes to sports and talking. So if you like what you're hearing from me, hit me up. I doubt you're listening to this, but maybe the off chance that you are, I will be a radio announcer. I'll be a PA announcer. I don't care. I can do anything. Another plug. I just keep plugging myself.
All right. Well,
where's the line, man? Thank y'all so much for listening. It's been one heck of a journey. I've enjoyed it. This is what I love to do, in case anyone didn't know. So truly, from me, thank you for listening. All 236 of you that we've streamed over 200 a couple episodes now. So all 200 of you that listen to those episodes, thank you. I appreciate it. It's been a fun 3 years. Love Britt as a brother, always will. I'm glad we did this thing for the last 3 years. And until you hear me again, y'all have a good one. It's been a great ride. Peace out. Anchor down. Anchor down. Love you guys.
And for the final time, go Vols. Goodbye.
Bye.